Hello, 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 and welcome to LRGA Curves today. Thanks for coming through, y'all. Thanks for coming through. Make sure you smash that like button and smash the subscribe button on your way in. If you have not already, go ahead, ring the bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video. And so you can become part of this beautiful curvy community that we are growing over here in these YouTube streets, y'all. In the YouTube streets, okay? And it's not a coincidence, okay? It is not a coincidence that we all found each other in these YouTube streets, okay? So, thanks for coming in. Like I said, be sure on your way in, smash all the buttons. Hope you're having a happy Wednesday. We just got back from roller skating. Took the boys on a day field trip. We went to the roller skating rink for sunrise roller skating, and it was so cool. Then we did a little shopping, then we came home. So now they're doing homework, and I'm here with y'all because I saw this morning. Well, actually, I saw it last night. Last night, what I saw chapped my hide. And I don't go to bed mad at my husband. But let me tell you, I went to bed a little peeved about this whole Bravo situation. Because they've been playing in our faces, y'all. They be playing in our faces. You know how it is. Bravo playing in our face. Yeah. So if you heard, or if you haven't heard, if you're a Bravo celebrity, a Bravo fan, such as myself, then you may have heard about this newest lawsuit from Leah McSweeney of oh, here it is. Let's put this one up. Real Housewives of New York. Oh, I don't want to add that. Real Housewives of New York. Leah McSweeney. Remember Leah? Well, last night I went to bed to find out that she had sued the Bravo. Okay, fine. Sue the Bravo. However, the reason this particular video is called All Roads Lead Back to Nene Leakes is because Nene Ben told us that Bravo slip was shown. Nene Leakes, Lanethia Leakes, in 2022 to say, oh, this, and this is happening at Bravo. And we're not just going to this, and this it. We're going to get into this, you guys. We're going to get into this. Because Nene, you guys know full well, she was shunned. She was humiliated. She was not believed. The people were like, well, because she could read and had shade, she deserved it. She's ungrateful. You can't call your boss a racist and expect to have a job. Of course she doesn't have a job anymore. And somehow she deserved to have a hostile work environment tolerated, being discriminated against, and having racism on her, and going to HR and doing what people do with HR. You're supposed to go to HR and complain. Put your complaint in, your grievance with HR. Let them know what's happening. That's Human Resources Department for a reason. Okay? She followed the protocol. You know how we have to play their games, you guys. You know how we have to play their games. She followed the protocol, goes to HR. HR didn't do anything. Okay. But yeah, let's see if I can do this real quick. HR did nothing. And in the meantime, oh my gosh, let's do this. You guys. So, look, I didn't even know. I had my thing muted. I was going off, you guys. Oh my gosh. Whoop, whoop. Okay. And I had it on the music one. Let's go here. Hey, thanks for coming through. Okay. So, on your way in, smash the buttons. Let's get started. I have this. We're adding it to the stage. I really don't want to do my girl like this, but they're the ones that put the picture in the thing. Nene Leakes explains why she was suing Bravo in 2022. You guys, let's take a look at this, shall we? Because, like my thumbnail says, let's make me bigger. Because I'm larger life after all, right? So, all roads lead back to Nene Leakes, okay? It's evident, it's clear. She was the first, the only one to speak up to Bravo and their hostile work environment. She was the only one to speak up to Bravo and tell them to their face that you're racist. Tell them to their face that you are creating. She said that her mental health was being affected. She asked them for some kind of help for her mental stuff, and they ignored her. They kept on putting her in hostile situations, negating what she had said was triggering her. Okay. Okay. So let's just look at what she really said. Now that everybody's had a couple years to get over the Nene deserved it because she was so nasty, she was doing her job and very well. Because if no one's noticed but me, the HBIC has and remains Nene Leakes on Real Housewives of Atlanta because there's been no number one since she's left. There's been co-chairs number two, but there's been no number one since she's left. Okay. So that's how much of an impact what people are now minimizing and reducing to. She was nasty. Oh my God. And she came for somebody's job allegedly. Oh my God. So she somehow deserved her list of what she said she endured while she was there. And I've always said that not only did she have the right to say what she said to the people, it was against the law for them to retaliate. There's a reason there's an HR department because you're supposed to have certain protections in place as an employee and be able to expect your rights as an employee, just like you have responsibilities as an employer and vice versa. Let's get into this. So Nene Leakes had dished lately that, she had been discriminated against for years. Okay. She wasn't backing down. People were like, well, she got paid $2 million. She should just shut up. Oh my God. She cashed all of her checks while she was so-called being discriminated against. Oh my God. I mean, if I was making $2 million, I just would have shut up and said, yes, massa. Where, massa? You mean pick this bale of cotton, massa? Okay. Yeah, I took it there. Okay. Because she was the $2 million woman over there. And she did still have the nerve to go over to them and say, you know what? Your shit stinks. And I smell it. And I shouldn't have to smell it at work. So after she complained, it kind of went downhill after season 12 when the production, I'm positive, allowed and directed the other ladies in their alliance to try to come for Nene's ankles and take her off the show, only to their own demise. Talk about biting your nose to spite your face. Ken and Candy. Cynthia was even in on it, remember? And their show has gone downhill since. Like Miss Seeley said, until you do right by Nene Leakes, nothing you do is gonna come right. You understand? Same thing that's happening for Colin Kaepernick over on the 49ers. They keep getting it in their hand. It's right there, the Super Bowl. They at the Super Bowl, but they can't seem to make the connection until they do right by that man. It's karma, you guys. It's a little bit of karma going on. Okay, just a little bit of karma because Nene was right. She was right for enduring it. She was right for keeping a dossier about it. You people should be taking notes. Even though it didn't quite work out the way it should have for Lanithia, what you're supposed to do while you're enduring these things, getting your paycheck, is keeping a dossier. And preferably in something where if you were to tear something out, well, this is back in the day when I was young, I used to plan, okay? Because I'm old school. And I don't know if they have some kind of digital dossier thing that you can do now where they'll be able to use the metadata in the encryption code to make sure that you didn't insert this incident later. But you used to have to use a booklet or some kind of notebook, like a composition notebook, where if you tore a page out, it was obvious. So if it had to be presented as evidence, they would be able to say, well, why'd you tear this page out? You know what I mean? So it used to be that if you took your time to not only endure some bullshit at work and keep a dossier on it, that we could start at the very beginning. Because of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, specifically, is the only reason that all of this stuff is even possible. Thank you, Black people. Shout out to Black History Month, 2 days left, okay? Because in 1964, Congress passed a public law, 88352, Statute 241, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, y'all. You remember that? Let's do a little bit of everything today, okay? Because this specific Civil Rights Act, let's do the Wikipedia version because I kind of like their wording sometimes. So it enacted a benchmark that it was to enforce the constitutional rights and prohibit discrimination based off of race and color. We could stop there because shout out to Paul Anderson, the author of this bill, if they even put his name in here, right? Let's see, does it say who it was drafted by? Because I know for a fact good Paul Anderson wrote it. And yeah, so he helped get it all together. And he was saying that he presented it and it was for Black people, by Black people, you guys. Paul Anderson is a Black man. And he took it to the people and they had said that they were going to go ahead and let this happen. So he drafted this bill based off of them saying, we're going to let a law pass because discrimination is wrong. Discrimination's wrong. Racism's wrong. You shouldn't be getting treated differently. And we're going to let you drink from the water fountains. And you can sit anywhere on the bus. We're going to still redline. And we're still not going to give your family a mortgage that's affordable. And we're still going to do all kind of other backhanded shit. But discrimination out in your face like this is just plain wrong, okay? Thus, microaggressions are born, okay? Anyway, so it was supposed to stop and prohibit unequal application of voter registration requirements, also racial segregation in schools, public accommodations, and employment discrimination. And the act remains one of the most significant legislative achievements in American history. Thank you, Black man. But you know what these people did? He took it and said, this is what the Black people need. They were like, can you take it back and add some other people groups? Because we don't want you guys to just have anything just for you. And by the way, now that we've thought about it, the only way that we're going to let it happen and even go through in the first place is if you change that it's only for Black people and include white women and include, and include other minorities. Let's include all the minorities, okay? Let's include all the minorities. And now let's make white women specifically minorities. And let's also, we're going to in the future include LGBTQIA also, because we need to include everybody. If we're not going to be discriminating against you, then just throw everybody in there because we're not going to let you guys have shit just for you. Okay? So, yeah, that's what happened, you guys. And because of this law, Nene Leakes was able to go to HR and say, hey, as a matter of fact, y'all are discriminating against me. As a minority here, as a Black woman here, as a melanated goddess amongst you, I've had to endure a lot of racist shit that I shouldn't have had to endure while I'm getting this. I'm not supposed to have to endure racist shit at work. Remember that training? You don't remember the training? You know, the unbiased training, the conscious training, the sexual harassment training, the you can't discriminate training. Remember all those things, those little trainings? Remember? So yeah, because of that, and because of this 1964 Civil Rights Act, they decided that it would be okay and legal for a person to come forward with these complaints. That's why when people say to me, well, she should have never expected Bravo or NBC to ever work with her again if she sued them for discrimination and racism. But yeah, she was supposed to, because this thing called the Civil Rights Act of 1964 kind of made a law that said you wasn't supposed to do that shit. Remember? No, doesn't apply to me. Okay. But it's fucked up. Because since 2022, our girl Anethia has faced a freaking plethora of retaliatory, evil, targeted, I'm gonna stop all your bags, bitch. As a matter of fact, let's digress. I mean, had she had an account at Wells Fargo and Bravo was her guardian, they would have been taking all the money like they're doing, allegedly. Wendy Williams. Are you guys noticing how they're messing with these black women's bags? Can we talk about the melanated bag and how it's under attack? You finally catch up, and now here they come fucking with you, leans, suits, you know. Everybody else, I know for a fact that rich people, like when they look at other rich people, if you don't have like a freaking suit in your back pocket or against you, then sometimes they're like, what's wrong? Why you're too clean? You know, like they really only want people with a little dirt already, because it just makes you more believable if you're dirty too. But to have Lanethia be bold enough to not only go to the other women, go HR by her, she went to other women on the cast and got them to let me see what's going on. My phone is doing something. What is this? Why is my phone vibrating? Oh, look, Emmanuel and Sebastian. Hello.
Curves, you were talking too real and too right now.
Oh, right on. Because I feel like I was on a little bit of a rant. You know how I can get, guys.
Right.
I just can't. I can't even understand, for one, how we got here. Mm-hmm. Because she complained in 2022 and she had been complaining to HR for years. And Andy has been inappropriate in our faces for years. Oh, ha, let me touch your boobs because I'm gay. Really?
Correct.
I've always said, isn't that still sexual harassment? Right. And that's part of why my husband is like, I don't want you hanging around with no gay guys, because they go around and they can be inappropriate with you, and it makes him think that sometimes they might be faking. Because why are you so interested in my wife's boobs?
Mm-hmm. And notice he loves to ask sexual questions and watch what happens live.
Yeah, and you can totally have like a hot seat, embarrassing kind of moment without it being oversexed, because shows do it all the time. He's inappropriate. He's been inappropriate. And he punished Nene, his golden girl, for telling us. Go ahead, guys.
Well, listen, Curves and I disagree on a lot of stuff, but we also agree on a lot of stuff. And this is one of the things we've been agreeing for a while. Because Nene is the HBI motherfucking C, okay? She is the one who was the trailblazer, not just in the Real Housewives, but also in this movement. And she's going to be remembered as the person who first stepped up against this corporation and had to get the brunt of it. Everybody owes Nene Leakes an apology.
Everybody. and especially her little cast. I hate that in this case it was her sestras of her own melanin hue who went and looked out for themselves, turned their backs on her, said nothing she said was happening. Since that time, even Ken has mentioned that some shit is wrong. She hasn't sued him about it, but she's mentioned it. And now for what do we have on this thumbnail? We have first it was Nene, because we're always first. Thank you, mitochondrial gene. We're always first. Okay? So Nene was first. And then we had Bethany did a little hoopa. And then Rachel. And then we had Caroline. And then Brandy. And now we have Leah. And Leah had 109 pages of, oh my God, they knew I was alcoholic and they kept giving me alcohol and I kept drinking it. And oh my God, I've been discriminated against because I was Jewish, and when they took me to fucking, they kept giving me pork and they wouldn't accommodate me. They refused to do my reasonable accommodations, and I had to not eat anything because everything was pork. Did you guys know that?
Yep. Also, I'm trying to think. Vicky Gunvalson, I think, sued the network as well. I think she had claimed that the network was making her lose sales. Do y'all remember that? But it kind of just went away.
I'd like to comment.
Of course.
My take on this Nene thing, yes, Nene did do this, and she started it before all the other women did. I agree, 100%. But I don't agree with all the ones who are doing this lawsuit. Some of the ones, such as Leah, last time I checked, Leah is a Jewish convert, not saying that makes her less Jewish or whatever. She's a Jewish convert. She came onto this show from a Catholic family. She was Catholic when she came on the show. Then she converted to Judaism. So they were probably used to feeding her pork and whatsoever. And I understand that she was an alcoholic, and you're saying that they kept on feeding you alcohol. I'm sad I'm going to have to say it, but you accepted it. You accepted it. You took it. You took it. I remember she said something about, they didn't let her see her grandmother go die. Oh, I'll be unalive. Well, not unalive. She wasn't unalive, but to finish her remaining. So she passed away, yeah. So to pass when your grandmother was passing away, you could have chose not to film, to not get paid for that episode, but you decided to stay. You decided to stay. Listen, I don't believe Leah. Bethany, I'm on here because Bethany only does things really for something else. Allegedly. Rachel, I believe her. Listen, I didn't like the way they made her feel like a victim for doing something that everyone else does on the show. Rachel deserves mercy, more mercy than anyone, than most of the cast on Vanderpump Rules, considering that they've done the same. This is what they've always done. Brandy, she has a lot of issues, but I do believe her on this case. I do believe her. I don't think she'd lie about this one. Caroline. Careful. It's very sad what happened to her. If what happened to her, that's the thing. I'm not sure if it happened. If what happened to her, I am very sad for her. And I'm guessing that most likely happened in Morocco, which I think that doing that could be punishable by death. By unaliving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very sad thing. But Bravo has been a toxic work environment for years, and some of the people who are involved in this lawsuit has promoted the toxicity of that work environment as well, excluding Nene Leakes, of course. But a lot of the others have promoted this toxic work environment.
Right. To their detriment.
Right.
You see
Which
how
is
you see how they return the favor to the ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta for turning on Nene and saying that nothing to see here. They allowed them to devolve into like love and hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like it all just like went south.
and I don't like Bethany for one biggest thing. One of the biggest thing is I remember a Watch What Happens Live. She said New York is better than Atlanta because in Atlanta they just say things like, "Oh, I'm gonna just get your weave and get your."
Yeah,
That was very problematic to me, and
very,
she was
very.
very comfortable when she was saying that.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me a lot of whoa, 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 Bethany. This is why I don't really believe. I don't mess with Bethany. I think of her as a fake. Um, But I agree, Nene did start these lawsuits. Nene is very important to not just the Housewives of Atlanta, but to Bravo in general. But there's only a few people on Atlanta wishing that she could return, and one of those people is one of the people who are is Kenya Moore. She just said it's going to be a very hard thing to do because of, you know, suing your boss. It's a huge thing to sue your boss. It's a huge thing
Okay, thank
to
you.
execute a lawsuit, but it's a
Listen,
huge thing to sue your
look.
boss.
Okay, it is, huh? So back in
It is.
2019, Vicky Gunvalson sued the network.
She
I
withdrew the
knew it.
lawsuit.
I knew
She
it. I knew she
sued
had sued.
Bravo. She sued all of them to block them from airing footage where she was being called out for something that happened for a fraud claim against her company. And they ended up dropping the lawsuit and they resolved it amicably. So Nene dropped her lawsuit.
Did they resolve everything amicably?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And,
That's the
and
difference.
Vicky's been on air since 2019, 23 fucking times.
I agree with you. The thing is, I feel like I agree with you. Trust me, don't get me wrong. But it's a very huge thing to come back after suing your boss. It's a very huge thing to come back. And
Only if you're black, obviously, because
well, it's even worse. Yeah, it's even worse.
Vicky
if you're
And a
not black.
Gunvalson
woman.
did it in 2019, and she was back on our screens several seasons and again doing promotions with them. She was at both Bravo cons.
I agree. I agree with you. And it's a very hard thing to do. To come back because Vicky had her trials too. She had her little punishments and not being able to do certain things.
But they
But
let her back. They let
But
her
they
make
let her back because they ended their
got
lawsuit
her back.
amicably. I do believe that Nene is necessary for the show. I really do. I really do believe Nene is necessary for the show. But as I said, they did not end their lawsuit amicably. They still have things to go. And you know, I don't all these other ones. Yeah, I think she is in arbitration currently with Bravo.
No, she's not in anything with Bravo. They
No, she's
have
in
not.
arbitration. I saw that report recently. I personally think this. Nene is important for the show. I really hope she could come back. But the truth is the truth, and the likelihood of her coming back is also the same chance of me becoming a millionaire in the next 2 years. It could happen in the next 10 years, but in the next 2 years. So that's my
Well,
take on
you
it.
never know. Maybe go buy a lottery ticket tomorrow.
Oh no, I don't play the lotto. That goes against my morals. I don't gamble.
Allie,
Hey, what's
can
up?
we hear you?
I'm just here to give Nene her flowers for being right again, as always.
Yes.
Queen Nene,
Yes.
love her. You know, she was been right from the minute she left the show and said what she said. She's been right, and all they're doing is proving her right. It's a shame that you have to have Bethany and Leah and all these people to prove what Nene was saying was true. I just wish the Royal girls stand behind her like how they should have, because things would have been different today.
Yep.
Yes, definitely. But they didn't, did they? And they're getting what they get. and they're hoping that Portia can even change the situation. But Portia was in on it too. So
You sure she
look,
was on that too? She sold out Nene and the getting what 2 little shows, that little chat room show and her spinoff show after that.
Well, you do
And
know
that was
Portia's
supposed to be your
intelligence.
friend. I mean, she lived down the street from you.
Well, we do know that Portia's intelligence is not fully there, so
yeah, well, yeah. It seems like some things are questionable over there. But Nene, nothing is questionable. Nene was spot on, wasn't she? She was Johnny on the spot, wasn't she? She was. But then she was being silenced. Okay. Then they dubbed her difficult. Sorry, dudes. Then they dubbed her difficult. And then Andy went to the other things that she was working on and was like, oh, she's going to want money. She's going to want money. Oh my God. She's going to want to be paid, you guys. Isn't that horrible? Oh my God. She's going to want some green stuff in her bank account. And you know how Black people are. They always want as much as us. So if you're okay with that, then you can go ahead and work with her. But I'm kind of off her. Yeah.
But I
And
agree
that's
with this
probably exactly
person.
the conversation.
I agree with this person who says has to try to resolve privately. Yeah, there needs to be many conversations behind closed doors that the public does not need to
Everybody's
see.
suit has been public. As soon as a suit gets filed,
No.
people can
Within
access
Nene's
it.
case, I'm not talking about the private. I'm not talking about these other irrelevance. I'm talking about Nene.
No, she
Nene's case.
tried it, and that's what the entire problem is. I'm going to stop you because that's still playing into that.
No.
Nene
I
had
didn't even
something
finish my sentence.
done.
I did
Oh,
not finish
okay.
my sentence.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
going to put it
agree.
away.
Nene did try to do everything privately. Then she did a lawsuit, which is the right thing you should do. 100%. If you feel like you are having if you're being violated in the workplace, you have every right to do your lawsuit. I'm not taking that right away from her. But afterwards, after said lawsuit, and if they do deem certain things, and if things are still going on in the courts and stuff, these things need to happen privately. These women that I see here, that I don't even like a lot of them, they are most likely going to do this lawsuit. They're most likely going to also be sending nice emails and stuff and, try to get on Andy's good side while this lawsuit's happening. Then they'll just decide, let's just withdraw it and I'm going to be back on the show. That's probably what's going to happen with these women here. But I do believe everything Nene has said about Andy Cohen and other Bravo executives. But you cannot, it's not easy to come back from stuff like this. It's not.
But we shouldn't make it hard. We shouldn't let them.
No. It's not because it's hard, but it's not because it should not be hard. But it's something that it will always be embedded. It's not easy to come back after a lawsuit,
Right.
and that's for anybody. And it's harder. It's harder for someone like Nene, but it's not easy.
Okay, we're not gonna Nikki Haley. It's harder for a Black woman, a melanated person in America, who's like all in it and didn't change her name to Nikki and is running against the cause.
No. Her name is Nikki. Her one of her names are Nikki. That's her middle name.
Oh, it's short like Nikki, or is it longer and Nikki's in there?
Her first name is Nimarata. Her middle name is Nikki. Her last name is Rondhawa, but she took her husband's last name, as many American women do.
Okay, cool. Okay, Nikki. Go, Nikki.
Nikki's actually
No
a Hindi.
racism over here.
Nikki is actually a Hindi name. It literally it means little one in Sanskrit.
Oh, cute. How do you know that? You have a Nikki in your family?
No, I had to do research on. I did a little research on this after I saw Sunny on The View saying that she doesn't like Nikki Haley because Nikki Haley is practically a chameleon who wants to pass as white, which Sunny also does, kind of, because her real name is Asuncion, not Sunny.
Oh, see? So we can all get
She was so
some.
wrong for that. She walked into that one. How are you gonna criticize someone for doing the same thing you did?
Right.
But I don't know, you guys.
Ascension.
I don't see
But the
Andy
funny
lasting
thing-
here too long. I'm gonna be honest with
I
you.
don't either. I can agree with you
I
on
see
that.
him
The
being
funny
gone
thing-
real soon.
Wait, no, but the funny thing with Sunny is she didn't even make that nickname. It was that lady that gave her that nickname, Sunny, because she pronounced her name.
Well, if people can't pronounce your
Well-
name, the same way Kamala Harris had to do a whole campaign on how to pronounce her name, Asuncion could have done the same thing.
Right, and it's
And
not that hard.
Asuncion
Asuncion.
is a nice name anyway. It sounds like you're going up.
Yeah,
That's
like
what it means.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I like it. I'm with it. I would have kept that. I would have had
It's
A's
better
all
than
over
Sunny.
everything. Oh my
And she-
god. Sunny is such a that's like Bunny. And what are some of those other names at the golf club? Oh, Muffy. No way. Moves and mimosas. Thanks for coming through. I just wanted to stop and hit that like button and show some love. Right on. Yes, we are really getting into it because the Civil Rights Act was made to include so many people. And it's because of this wonderful work of legislative art that was trying to make it illegal to continue the freaking plight and degradation of freaking Black people and our persecution and the stopping of our bags and the stopping of our jobs and our general growth and ability to leave legacy in general.
Our bank
They were
accounts.
stopping that at every freaking point, you know?
Our
So
bank
they came in-
accounts.
Huh?
Our bank accounts.
Yes.
And the decisions
Exactly.
we make with
and
them.
that's part of like this could be applied to we were saying earlier to Wendy Williams. Like there's this kind of first we either don't believe these Black people or we're over policing these Black people. It's like these things are going on with our Black women specifically that I'm just like really a little triggered right now. I'm like, so you can't get believed even with all this proof and all these extra suits, and you still not talking to me, Bravo? Arbitration still hasn't called. Look, we can Google it. Let's Google it. Is she currently in arbitration? Is Nene currently in arbitration? I'm glad it spelled the rest of that. They filed to force her to engage in arbitration in 2022. Okay. However, this is
But he didn't work
Rio.
out a deal.
She entered into negotiations. According to page 6, court documents, Cohen's team granted both parties 45-day extension. This is all 2022. She sued the companies behind
My
for
power just went
fostering
out, guys. My power
hostile,
just went out.
racist
My power just went out.
environment.
If I fall, if I go away, just know it's my power that went out. My power went out. It's so windy and it's raining.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
it's back.
That was how it
It's
was
back.
out here last.
It's back.
Right on. So the court documents stated that the reality star complained about racist remarks from specifically Kim Homeless, and Leakes claimed in her lawsuit that she suffered consequences after bringing attention to this on set. She alleged that they sought to sideline her from talking about Black Lives Matter on the show by keeping her off early episodes in which the housewives addressed the BLM. In the lawsuit, Nene names NBC, Bravo, production companies True and Truly, and executive Andy Cohen. Kim is not named. Okay, so when Vicky Gunvalson sued, I think she named Kelly Dodd also, like she didn't want Kelly to be able to say anything. Let's dismiss this. Okay, so NBC and Bravo and True foster a corporate workplace culture in which racially insensitive, inappropriate behavior is tolerated, if not encouraged. Okay, so this is where She already has been working there 12 years. She has a dossier on these mo's, okay? And she stated her case to HR properly. So she did it quietly behind closed doors the way you're supposed to. She mentioned that she was going to take other action. She then took other action. They threw it back into the court of arbitration in 2022. She was on the show through 2020 because I was like, 2023 doesn't seem right. Yeah, I think she sued him like 2021-ish, like because it was all during the pandemic, right? So does it say when she sued them? August 19th? What year? This is from
I
2022.
remember that it went to the
So all
court.
of that happened, you guys.
Yeah, I remember it went to the court and it went to the court a little bit to the judge, I should say, my correction. And the judge asked them, he was about to dismiss it. But what happened was NBC and Nene's team came to agreement to go to arbitration because that was on her contract. Now, if you go back into the Carlos King interview he did last year, 2023, Nene still says she's waiting for them to have the conversation. They haven't started arbitration yet. Because Carlos King asked and they haven't started it. So every time she goes somewhere, say, "Hey, have you got anything?" She says, "No, we still not have the conversation."
They are refusing
if she
to
would
talk to her.
Yeah.
They are not even acknowledging her. I keep telling y'all that's another form of racism, to not even engage with the person calling you a racist when by law you're supposed to. You just told me to go to arbitration, bitch. Why aren't you there? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's still another way to dehumanize, minimize, and all of the things that go along with the exact treatment she is pleading and suing them about. It's amazing.
The thing is, if she wanted to, she could go back to court. She could probably go back to court since they refused to go to arbitration like how it's supposed to according to her contract. She could go back to court and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm trying to go to arbitration. They refuse to talk. Can we now make this something where we have to subpoena them and go to discovery and all that good stuff?"
Right.
Because it's been over a year now.
Right.
And remember, it was NBC, Truly, and Bravo. They wanted an arbitration. They were saying it's in her contract. It's in our contract. You can't just sue. You have to go to arbitration first.
And that could even be.
And they
I
haven't
would go
done
back
it yet.
to court and say the reason I went straight to suit is so they wouldn't do this to me because look, Your Honor, it's 2020 motherfucking 4, and they haven't even set the arbitration yet, Your Honor. So that means your arbitration clause is void if you're not engaging it. I want to continue with my suit. And now with all these other suits, they would pay her so much freaking money. But we have Emmanuel, who's in law school. Can you tell us if that's true or not?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't really studied a lot of of Nene's case, so I don't really know where she is. But I think a lot of it is just semantics. I think that they just don't want to do right by her, so they're gonna pull out every tactic, every technique they can to continue to do wrong by her. I think that Andy is refusing. He needs to have Nene and Andy need to have a conversation. One conversation,
I have a question. Since you... No, I want to pick your brain since you're in law school just a little bit. If you had a lawsuit,
not yet,
right?
Not yet.
And they say you have to go to arbitration, right? And you're supposed to go, but you can't go to arbitration because the other party is refusing to do it. Can you go back into court and sue?
That's a good question. I'm not in law school yet. I will be next fall, but I believe that
your life into that situation, and you're gonna pass with flying colors, and you're gonna change the freaking world, and you're gonna undo some of these ridiculous laws.
Yeah. Yeah, because what is going on? Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, they actually met with Bethany, settled with Bethany, and Bethany did her thing way past Nene. So how that makes sense? Because hers was a class action lawsuit. It wasn't just hers; it was a class action.
Look, I was just talking. Can you hear me now? Let's see.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Awesome. So Bethany prepared to sue Bravo in 2023. She settled a $100 million lawsuit with her former manager. Let's see. Naughty Love. Thanks for coming through. What else did she do? She just started it. I don't think they've done anything else since that whole reckoning thing. So then after Bethany, though, then we had Rachel Leakes hit him with the 1-2 because it also affected her mental health. And so she was supposed to be getting in on the suit along with, there was like at least 10 other Bravo celebrities that came forward within the class action suit with Bethany and said about the stuff that was happening to them. So then we had Caroline Manzo, who was like, you guys had Brandy grope me and I wasn't safe. And now you have Brandy saying Andy, whose face she'd lick and whose boobs she like did all the stuff he would want her to do. She was nice and sexy for
Can I say out of all of
the way
these
he likes his
Brandy,
girls. And now she's like, as a matter of fact, I feel like you harassed me during the phone call with Kate when you told me you want to have a threesome. I felt harassed and sued Andy personally. And I just feel like it doesn't look like anybody's gotten any type of settlement from Bravo. It's all just out there. Somebody needs to tap Nene's shoulder. Tell Nene to get her lawyer back on the thing and say they want to re-engage their suit or arbitration within a reasonable amount of time, or else we're going to pursue the lawsuit as planned, along with these additional things that I remembered since you gave me so much time between now and arbitration. And then go back to them and watch them give her $100 million or whatever they're about to have to give her, because now all these white ladies have also come forward and said exactly the hostile work environment, the discrimination, the going to HR complaining about mental health and everybody ignoring them, the retaliation for speaking up. The only person whose bag they've continued to stop, though, is Nene Leakes. So she would get even more in damages if I was her lawyer. She would definitely get the whole bag. Everybody else could have a little. But Andy would be dismissed from his position. Andy would have to publicly apologize to her and go back and make sure that she got all of whatever productions, whatever relationships he tainted. He needs to acknowledge and untaint them. Actually, it would be great if he named everything so she could actually calculate the amount of loss that she's actually suffered as a result. It's a lot of things she could do, but she definitely needs to get back to those courts. What do you think, Nadi?
So, as far as Nene, because we had our differences on Nene. The main thing about Nene for me is her attitude a lot of the times. But when it comes to this lawsuit,
Amen.
I feel like I feel like she has some validity, and if they would have all stuck together from the very beginning and stood behind Nene, it wouldn't be all these lawsuits scattered around, and I think they would have came to a settlement a lot faster. I mean, in numbers, you're stronger. As far as Brandy, I feel like that's a distraction and a deflection from what she did to Carolyn Mansell, because I feel like Brandy has been inappropriate for a lot of years, and Bravo let her get away with that.
Amen.
She even tried it on marriage boot camp. She was a major liability from the beginning of time when she was letting her kids pee in people's pools. Hello, and let's not forget she doesn't even have custody of her kids anymore. She's so freaking reckless. And I have it in my right mind to believe that she was down with Andy with doing the little nose candy and participating in threesomes. Did we forget about what she did with what's her girl from Beverly Hills?
Her response is your nail on head. She was down with it.
She was down with it. Come on, do you hear the ridiculous and repulsive things that come out of Brandy Glanville's mouth on a regular basis? She should have been sued a long time ago. Like, I'm repulsed by that woman. And look how she tried to out Denise Richardson on a threesome, and now you want to out Andy? I don't buy it. I don't buy it for not one bit. And then you said Raquel is in on it too, right?
Raquel.
Hello? She's suing too?
Yeah, Raquel Leavis said that they gave her alcohol and it affected her mental health.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're
I don't know if it was separate from Bethany's or included with, let's see.
I would have rather her went with the mental health, because I could see that it really affected her mental. But the alcohol, that was your choice. You're grown. You're grown. Nobody's forcing alcohol down your throat. We have choices. Just like nobody forced Tom Sandoval's peeing down your throat either. You know what I mean? Like, nah.
Right.
She needs to rethink that right there. Like I could see the mental health thing, but as far as forcing alcohol down her throat, nah. You chose to work at a bar, chick. What did you think?
Right.
She didn't get to the lawsuit. She's only said the damaging, they refused to pay her, but she didn't file her separate lawsuit. She was just in on the Bethany reckoning. Yeah.
Oh.
Which wasn't a lawsuit, was just basically a letter, in my opinion.
Oh.
So yeah. I feel like had they backed Nene up, it just goes to show how divided and racist Bravo is. I always felt like they were racist from when they let Kim homeless Zodiac on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my take on it. I hope Nene gets her money.
That could be also why things aren't moving. It's expensive. Greg died. She was in mourning, trying to consolidate her pennies.
Come on, Nene. She reduced to working as a host on Baddies. She was traumatized after that. It's bad when you go from Bravo to Zeus Network. Like, I liked her on College Hill.
Thank you, baby. I was looking for those.
Well,
yeah.
I know that she's going to be in a movie with Denise Richards on Lifetime.
I can see that for Nene.
Well, that'll be interesting. I saw a little trailer of it. But let me just say this, though. Candy Burris, shame on you. Because you stood by and you did interview after interview talking about Andy. So he's the best boss ever. I've never had no problems. Whenever I do, I go and I change them. I don't sit back. Now look at you.
Are you talking about
I
Candace from
agree, 'cause
Patrol?
I know
Candy from
I know the
Bravo.
narrative is.
Oh, Candy. Oh, I think Candy
Candy
knew this was
Curves.
coming, and that's why she backed out.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
she's not
exactly
gonna
what
let anything
happened.
tarnish her
And she got
reputation.
she
Not
most
even.
likely got
Then they fit Andy's character picture of what a real housewife. Yeah, like it's really interesting. So we get all of these suits happening against Bravo, who loves to gainfully employ not only racists, in my alleged opinion, but a good criminal who Erica
Criminals.
Jane today got found out that she's going to have to stand trial for the Marco outfits from when she was expensive to be her.
Who?
Well, it was expensive.
Oh, Erica Jane. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It was
Yeah, I
expensive.
saw that too.
Yeah. But
That's what she
Bravo,
did for perpetrating.
go ahead.
That's what Erica Jane did for perpetrating and spending people's money that wasn't hers. It's expensive to be me. Flying around on private jets on other people's money. Child. I'm over these Bravo frauds.
Didn't they say they found that?
Your phone cut out. We couldn't hear you.
Didn't they say they found what? Yeah, your phone cut out. Sorry.
Wait,
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I thought they said at one point that Tom Girardi was now found to be able to there's so many cases that he's able to now be held in trial. That
Yeah, he's able to
is
stand trial.
but
He was competent to stand trial.
Yeah, he was faking it the whole
that's what I
time.
heard.
That was deflection and distraction. But yeah, he
Oh,
will
you
have
know
to pay. And only reason why he divorced Erica is so she wouldn't go to jail with him.
Yeah. I was glad because I know he was trying to fake it. And then when they found out that he's able to say, good, now these, people could actually get some form of actual justice. Not so, halfway, but, it is what it is. But I'm not surprised. I mean, I never saw Brandy, Brandy before. Only time I saw her is on the Ultimate Girls Trip ex-wives version, and she was a hot mess on that.
It looks like what Caroline is so upset about is that the lawsuit says that on the same night an intoxicated Glanville spread Manzo's legs and laid her head on her inner thigh, while Manzo, pulling away and moving to the other end of the couch, exerting her dominance over Manzo, Glanville followed Manzo and sat right next to Manzo on the couch, the suit says. Manzo said Glanville kissed her multiple times before forcibly holding her down, squeezing her cheeks and sticking her tongue in her mouth while humping her. The suit says Glanville is a foot taller than Manzo and heavier, making it hard for Manzo to free herself, which she eventually did.
I would have ragged that hoe. Sorry. Get the f off of me.
I think when she was on that,
He eventually did.
Girls Trip, she did
Manzo
something
said
similar
that
like
not
that
long after
to the Girls Trip.
Glanville, right? She said, right, not long after that, Glanville came into the bathroom with 2 other housewives from New York and inappropriately touched her, eventually pinning her against the door and pushing Manzo's hands away from the lock. She said that she called for help multiple times, but no one came. The lawsuit says producers listened to the interaction on audio and sent one of the producers to the door to investigate, but the producer didn't open the door or do anything to stop the assault. Manzo said she was finally let out of the bathroom by one of the New York housewives after she saw what was happening. According to Manzo, when she got back to the bathroom, when she got back to her room, 2 producers came in and asked her what happened in the bathroom. And she said she began to cry and tell them what happened, asking not to be left alone with Glanville. Manzo was scared for her safety and well-being, the lawsuit says. Manzo said that Glanville sent her text messages apologizing for the behavior the night before, which she didn't respond. She said filming continued with Glanville present, and she was uncomfortable, noting that Glanville was complaining that Manzo had accused her of sexual assault. She said that she told Glanville that she was being removed from the Desert Villa property and to stay at a nearby hotel. Manzo said 2 of the producers told her that Glanville's actions were her way of showing love and wanted to meet with Glanville. And then the defendants were more focused on the continuation of the show rather than the health and well-being of Manzo after she was sexually, you know what? Manzo said that she was disgusted at her sexual assault. And aftermath, where being used for entertainment purposes by the castmates in danger of facing the same sexual harassment and she left the production early, saying that the producers were still trying to film her for the drama. The lawsuit cites that other incidents of sexual assault and harassment of the housewives during the season Glanville was on Ultimate Girls Trip. You guys.
Yeah,
I believe
like
it.
that happened on that first one. She was a hot mess.
Brandy is the
I saw the
R-word.
first one.
Hi,
She did
Chanel.
something similar like that to one of them. Yeah, in the first one where Phaedra was in it, she was acting like that too, and then she blamed it on the alcohol. But girl, she was
Blame it on the alcohol. I heard that
That's more than alcohol going on there.
Can you hear us,
That's a
Chanel?
mixation.
Yeah,
She's traumatized. She's traumatized, but Brandy is traumatized from what's her name?
can't.
Lala
Dorinda?
killing her
From
man.
Sheena? From Sheena.
Oh, it was Sheena. It was
Sheena
Sheena, not Lala. It was
Sheena.
Sheena.
That is true. I agree with that.
She needs to go get some therapy for that, like, because everybody's moved on, even Sheena.
She needs to go to behavioral hospital.
Oh my God, I cannot.
Sheena's
gonna
moved
be on
on
the
so much.
registry.
Sheena's moved on so much. She's nailing other hoes to the cross.
Oh,
Yeah, Sheena's like a proud housewife now, and she's got OCD.
really?
Well, I don't know about that, Naughty, because if you saw last night's episode, looks like a divorce might be on the horizon with her and Brock.
Oh man, her husband did look a little fed up from what I saw.
Yeah, they were screaming in the store. She had to get out the store. That's how embarrassing it was.
No way. What's going on?
Well, where did this OCD come from?
They've been fighting a lot. Maybe it has something to do with Sheena being a professional victim. Maybe.
That's the whole skit.
I cannot.
What's your thoughts, Chanel? Thanks for coming through.
Oh, well, I just barely got on here, so you guys, I don't know exactly. I know some of the people you named, but I don't know what show y'all were talking about.
Okay, so we started with way back in 1964.
Oh, is it the one? Is it the one where it's like the housewives from different shows or whatever, or something like that?
Well, this is all started back because of in 1964, there was a Civil Rights Act that made it okay for you to sue based off of discrimination and racism, and you couldn't have those things specifically at work. And then
Nene Leakes.
in 2021 or so, Nene Leakes had sued Bravo, saying that they were racist, discriminating, and had created a hostile work environment, and nobody listened. And since that time, we've had she got sent to arbitration in 2022 and it's 2024 and they haven't talked to her. Since that time, we've had Bethany, Rachel, Caroline, Brandy, and now Leah Sweeney all come forward and say exactly what Nene said, but only white. So now
Hold on.
we're saying that Nene.
Okay. Is that Leah in the background, honey? I'm confused. I can't take it.
Yeah. Yeah, because she said the place embarrassed her and she had to. Did you guys know we're going to get to her 109 page, 34 item complaint? But that I put her on her knees in the back like that because it was said when I was looking for images for this thing, I put in this video came up and it said how her mom was very upset that her and her daughter were twerk. She was teaching her daughter how to twerk. And so she was doing the whole wicked drop and the wop and the wop, wop, wop. And so she was doing her little whole wop dance. She did good. She's very flexible. And so I decided to hurry up and catch that because I'm being cheeky. But so now Leah has a 109 page complaint, you guys. And let's get into what the 34 complaints are. So items 1 through 16 are discrimination. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, didn't Mariah and Vicky also sue them?
Yes, we talked about Vicky sued in 2019. It's 2024. She's been back on several times.
That's what
since she sued. Bravo.
That's why I'm confused. I'm
saying,
like,
oh, you can't expect to come back to work after you sue your boss. Only applies to people that have melanin skin.
Correct. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought that was
because Vicky Gunvalson's ass has been back in front of us complaining about some more woo-woo and then complain her love tank is whatever her love tank is. We had to find out some more after she got to sue Bravo and keep it moving in a forward direction. But oh my God, a black woman was not. They're always saying, oh, Nene. They always make it sound like Nene's not grateful. And the way they make it sound like Nene's not grateful, I really don't like this picture, Nene. The way they make it sound like Nene's not grateful is by calling all the other housewives grateful. Oh, Kim is so grateful. Oh, Cynthia's so grateful. Oh, Candy's so grateful. You know, so those are like whistle words for not grateful, which, you know, when you're too uppity and you're negress, then things kind of can get in a way for you. But that's not where we're going to stop. We're going to go over here to this right here. I'm going to let this play. I'm going to mute it though.
I cannot.
Yeah, we'll leave it on mute. But this is Talk of Shame. I love her. Let's put us back over here and see what happens. Oh no, you know what? Let's do this one. Is this the one? Is this the one? Let's try this. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay. So, there we go. So she complained, 109 page complaint, you guys. And, you know, the items 1 through 16, I don't know, what do you call them, Emmanuel? So she has like 34 things within her overall complaint. Items 1 through 16 have to do with discrimination, harassment, hostile work environment. They failed to provide reasonable accommodations for disability, which was her alcoholism. And she suffered financial losses, emotional distress, loss of reputation, humiliation, and continues to suffer irreparable injuries. Then also within 1 through 16, well, the lady didn't say what these other numbers were, but to go on, the hostile work environment caused suicidal thoughts, and she actually checked herself into a loony bin as a result, because she was Jewish, and they tried to feed her pork and forced her to starve when she was at Fuck It. She was discriminated against as a white woman. Thank you, civil rights. Comments were made about her private parts that demeaned her She had comments from Andy about her boob job. And these are New York statutes as well as federal statutes that she named in these items, these first set of items. Then we have retaliation because she went to HR like, oh my God, is the road leading back to Nene again? Because Nene went to HR. Oh my God, Nene went to HR. And when she went to HR, nothing happened except for she got fired. Okay, but look, it seems like there's a pattern emerging, which is why somebody needs to call Nene Lenithia and be her lawyer really swiftly, because she was the first. It was harder to prove her point. But now that these white ladies are coming through with the exact same story, Lenithia, because after she went to HR, Leah McSweeney went to HR and complained. They told her straight out, we're going to fire you. You won't be terminated if you keep coming up in here with this bullshit, Leah. So then that brings us to item 21, retaliation for disclosure of unsafe work conditions. Caroline Manzo much? I'm not sure. Which were also reported to HR. Alrighty. But how instead of being repaired, the environment was exasperated and exacerbated her mental illness. Oh, she further says that defendants conspired with cast members. Sound a lot like Real Housewives of Atlanta, anybody? Oh my God. Or Married to Medicine much? Patterns emerging. Get your checkbook ready for your settlement, Bravo. Because these are established patterns by people that aren't Black coming for your same showing slip. Because your slip is showing, Bravo. And we're tugging it. Don't trip. Just get the checkbook ready. Get it ready. Because
Can
she
I say
also
something?
said, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I can wait till you're done.
Oh, yeah. We only have, it's not that much further. So she also said that when they conspired with the cast members, it was specifically to torment her regarding her disability about alcoholism. Yep. Brings us to 22. Oh, no, go ahead before I get to 22. Go ahead, because I have 21 right now. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was thinking last night about Candace and Wendy, and you know how they have that whole colorism thing going on over there. And I just was saying to myself, I don't understand how Candace and what's her Chris haven't sued, and it's not even about the colorism part of it, but it's linked to it because it's like I've been watching this whole season and Bravo, in my opinion.
That's a hostile work environment. Colorism being tolerated is a hostile work environment.
That's what I'm saying, because
so you're right.
y'all are in on it. Because it's one thing for the cast to kind of be like, well, we don't think we're colors, and whatever else. They could be ignorant about it. But when you know that this complaint has been made and you don't change, like you said, the hostile work environment, you don't hold anybody accountable. And then what makes it 100 times worse is then now y'all are purposefully, if I'm their lawyer, this is what I'm coming to court with. You are showing every time Wendy or Candace or whoever it is you don't like, the Browner girls, you show everything that they do, every single thing, but you fail to highlight any of the things that these ladies over here are doing. And to me, that's institutional racism. That's how I feel. So I don't understand how they're not worried
Nikki,
about a lawsuit. That's what
Nikki,
I don't get.
But you could argue that Candace and Wendy are the ones creating the hostile work environment.
For who?
For all the
by mentioning that it's colorist.
No, by what they do on the show.
How are they? Okay,
what do they do on the show that creates a hostile work environment?
For example, this week's episode, as poor Giselle is talking about her precious daughter going to an HBCU, matter of fact, in Florida. Wendy and Candace can't help but to make faces, roll their eyes, make gestures, and then Wendy opens her mouth to say some crazy stuff.
No, so I think that's taken out of context. And I'm not saying what you're saying isn't possible, that it couldn't have happened, but we have to realize that these people are making a show. And a part of that is they can tape whatever. And that doesn't mean that at that exact time that lady was speaking about her child, because I do think it's disrespectful if that's what was happening. But we know they'll show us things in a preview that they never, ever even air. So I'm like, how do we know this is from when exactly this lady was saying it? But Bravo shows their tail every time. Let's focus in on these two people, because I just don't believe that they're the only two at the table that had any type of expression on their face. So it's like, you one would have to prove that that's exactly what they're laughing at. And if I'm not saying anything, you don't know what I'm thinking. I could be thinking whatever. I could be thinking about whatever I was going to do to my husband when I got home, or whatever he did to me last night. So you can't really say, you're assuming that that's what's going on. But if we really want to go there, then let's roll back to, what was it, 2 seasons ago, when Robin, who has something to say about Wendy's expressions on her face, didn't you not invite children that are all under the age of 10 to a family fan, and you have something to say about what she's saying about an 18-year-old? And I'm not saying,
but you can't be the victim and the villain.
No. What I'm saying,
but Curves,
yeah, that's why NECA. That's why NECA needs to go somewhere with her long fingers.
Curves, you're wrong for what you're looking at.
But I just think that if you're gonna play that game, then you can't say on one hand that, like you said, I'm the victim, and then now I'm not the victim anymore. Because to me, you're a real petty human being if you are not inviting children to a Children's Day event. So I just like. I don't, you can't have it both ways. This is the same thing that they did 3 years ago with Monique. Oh, we're against people fighting. We hate violence. I want to raise my child to be da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, they ask you at the next reunion after Dr. Wendy gets assaulted, you don't care. That's the words that came out of your mouth. You said, I don't care about this woman getting assaulted. So it's just kind of like, I don't know which way y'all want to play. Are we going to play the game and we're going to put it all on the table? Or are we going to pretend like we don't see the things that we don't want to see?
Nikki, I see where you're coming from, and I agree with some things that you said, but not all.
Okay.
They did not say that they don't care that Wendy was assaulted. They said that they didn't think of it as the same strength of when Monique punched.
They said that as
Candace.
well. They said that as well, Sebastian. But what Andy asked Giselle directly. And he was, because he was trying to make a correlation or whatever. And Andy said to her, I don't remember exactly what his words were, but he was saying to Giselle, don't you understand that's why Wendy felt X, Y, and Z? And then Giselle turned her arm and said, I don't care about her. I don't like her. That's what she said. I don't like her. So therefore, you can do whatever you want to her. That's exactly what Giselle said. I don't like her. When he was making the analogy about, if you can see what's wrong and what she did to Mia, why can't you see that it's wrong with what Mia did to Wendy? I mean, all of them are wrong. Don't get me wrong. They all have wrong in whatever their movements are. They all have.
It's so weird though, because when Wendy first came on the show, her and Giselle were buddy. They were all up both each other's behinds. That's the
I don't
truth.
remember it being that way.
It was close. They were very close.
I don't remember it being that way. I remember that Wendy really wanted to be part of that group of girls. That's why it was so easy to gang up against Monique. But I never really remember like Giselle being buddy.
Oh, they were buddies. They were both talking Karen. They were both tag teaming on Karen and Ashley, because Ashley was being dragged by those women too that season. Listen, the thing is, Wendy and Giselle are basically,
Don't do it.
Imagine seeing an orange and then seeing another orange, but it's just a little smaller.
No.
Same thing, bitter, sour, and they're no.
Okay. Hold on, Sebastian. I just have to say this. Let's be very clear. Wendy doesn't like Giselle and Robin, or whatever the case may be, because they attacked her family. Wendy didn't do anything to them. She didn't. She was, like you said, wanting to be cool or whatever. You attack my husband. You attack business. Right. And so
I watched the show during those episodes.
If you attack my husband or my kids or my mom and I respond to you, but you still have the audacity to say, I'm in the wrong, how am I wrong? I'm reacting to what you did to me.
The response was a little problematic in my opinion.
No, the response was real. The response was truthful.
It was right on time.
She said, Dr. Wendy said to Giselle, you know what, where does your self-esteem have to be? How low does it have to be to let a man basically cheat on you in front of the whole, like, that's what she said. Those things are true. Giselle season 1 came onto the camera and said, I was married to a pastor and he was cheater, pumpkin eater. That's what Giselle came on TV and said. So all Wendy did is make her replay it back. Let's run it back down. You said this man treated you treacherously. So if that's what's happening, and then you come on TV and you say, "Oh, I don't believe anything that this blog wrote, but I just think, maybe she's, getting her body done because her husband likes booty models." You brought this on yourself. Period. Right. And it's the same
but
thing.
you know
with
it's truth. It's the truth that Eddie was following and liking a lot of booty models on Instagram. Do you know that?
What? Do you know a man that does not? Like, men sit on porn all day long. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing out of the ordinary, in my opinion, for a man to want to look at girls' booties.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because, Eddie could allegedly have been following some Instagram models, but Jamal is out there with children.
Well, why is Giselle bringing it up? That's the point.
Yeah,
right.
It was all over the blog. They just talked about it. I don't like Giselle at
That's
all.
what was the fact that wine is paying for Canadian hoes hotel rooms, but she don't want to talk about that.
That's wrong. Trust me. I don't even know why they brought Robin back.
You can look all day long. You can look. It's the actions. When you
he liked them. The actions, the actions are truth, and he liked them.
But again,
somewhere, you guys.
But again, though, listen. Just this one thing. I just want to say. This.
Okay. Go ahead. Versus having allegations of having children are totally different things. I mean, a whole baby's a real person. That was the whole thing down here, that he had a baby with one of the people that he's going to church. He's supposed to be preaching in the church, and he having babies with with ladies in the congregation. That is not a good look. You can't compare Instagram model and like an Instagram model while producing children.
I agree with you guys.
How many kids he
they're not married.
How many kids he had.
But you know what? You know why her point is mute? You know why Robin doesn't get no legs to stand on with me? Because this is going back to her colorism ass. Okay? Because racism, and it all leads back to racism and colorism in this case. Let me plead my case. Because in April 1936, a mob of 40 white men in Colbert, Georgia, went and got Lynch Shaw. Because why? Because you know what? Part of the over-policing of black people in America, while we got, 36 hours left on Black History Month, let's get into it. Because you know why? They went and did this to this man. Because there was a law during Jim Crow that if black men, it was lodged against black men, that was based off of looking at, accidentally bumping into, smiling, winking, getting too close, or being alone with a white woman, or also, if you made a white woman, if she said she felt uncomfortable around you, you could be leaving her porch. And if she said she felt uncomfortable or was scared because you were walking away from her fucking house and never interacted with that bitch, she could go to her white Uncle Bubba and get the Klansmen rallied to go find a nigga that looked like you and string you up on a motherfucking tree, because the over-policing of black people includes our very facial expressions. Therefore, Robin is a motherfucking colorist for not only paying such Hawkeye attention to, but finding issue with Candace's and Wendy's sovereign fucking right to emote a facial expression of loathing and contempt for a hoe you have nothing for, while she's talking about her seeds from the demon preacher. Excuse me while I don't go give any fucks. Okay? Excuse me while Robin gets nothing. Excuse me while Giselle gets less for sitting there acting injured because the black ladies didn't say shit to you, but because they looked at each other and emoted Miss Sass.
We need to pass the offering plate, people.
I'm sorry.
We need to pass the offering plate. We need
Listen,
to pass the offering plate back.
get it out.
Offering plate for the building fund, please.
I get out with y'all.
Anybody saw the College King? Did anybody see the College King interview with Gordy that dropped
That was
today?
amazing. Yes.
I don't know.
I love it, and I like the fact that the part I mentioned that because the part where he talks to her about what was going on in Potomac with NECA and Wendy, I absolutely loved her answer because she was talking about her dynamics with Kiki and how they're like sisters and they got to know each other and have a real bond. And it was just a shame that couldn't happen with NECA and Wendy. And the one thing I thought was interesting that somebody was in NECA's ear, and instead of her ignoring it, and I'm paraphrasing, she just went right into it. And now here it is. And she said, NECA needs the one to apologize and really needs to apologize to Wendy's mother because that was a huge no-no.
Yeah, I agree. Can I just clarify something? I'm sure y'all are very intelligent people, but the thing that bothers me the most about what Giselle attempted to do with the Chris situation, where she kept saying he made me feel uncomfortable. So I'm a social worker, and I always believe victims. So you just gonna have to prove that they're lying. That's just how I roll. But what bothers me is that she kept saying, he made me feel away. And this is my thing. I think that Giselle definitely felt away. I'm not going to take that from her, but I don't think that it had anything to do with Chris. I think Giselle had in her mind, I do believe this part of her story is correct. I do believe Chris said, hey, can we go talk, whatever, to the room, they go, whatever. I do believe when she got there and realized there was no one else in there, she felt uncomfortable. But I don't think she felt uncomfortable because of anything that Chris did. The reason I say that is because I could understand. I could put myself in that situation and say, oh, I thought my husband was in here or my cousin or my brother, whatever. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be in a room with this man. The problem that I have is Chris didn't do anything. When Giselle sat on that couch and she talked to Karen about it, who says that she is a victim of the R word. She asked Giselle, did he say something to you? No. Did he touch you? No. Well, then what did you say? I asked him to go see if they were ready for me to come back. And what did he do? He immediately left. So it bothers my soul that she is still on here saying that this man did something. You were uncomfortable with the situation and the optics of what the situation could appear to others. And that you didn't want, maybe because your husband cheated on you, whatever. I get that part. I don't understand how you are associating it with him. And to me, it was very intentional because it was, let's get Ashley together because he supposedly is DMing Ashley at 2 a.m. And why are you doing that? And then let's add lying Mia, because we know she don't know how to do nothing but lie, and say he was looking at me the whole time. And then the producer showed that he didn't look at her. And then you bring the Sesame Street characters on board to say he touched them. It just bothered my soul. And I remember when, what is her name? Candace, at that burn session or whatever, and Candace talked to Giselle, and she was like, you are the reason that women can't come forward. And initially I was like, oh, I don't know that Giselle is the reason. She has the right to have her feelings. But now I 100% agree with her, because you said out of your mouth, Chris did absolutely nothing to you at all. So then if this man didn't do anything to you, there wasn't an action taken. That doesn't mean you can't be uncomfortable around him, but he isn't doing anything but existing. That is not okay to say that this person can't even exist because I'm uncomfortable. Right. Although this person didn't do anything physically to me. You know what I'm saying? It's gaslighting at its highest level, and it's problematic because it's for the rest of it. This man's life, this is how I view it. For the rest of his life, if one woman says he did this, he looked at me, it's all gonna be like, I told y'all. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have to do anything, and there's no key out of the cage that he's in for the remainder of his life. And he's, in my opinion, he's great. I feel like he should be grateful that this happened on this show and that these people actually captured it. Because if they would have told the same story with no footage, I would have been like, maybe he did. You know what I'm saying? But there's footage that clears him. But I don't think he would have been cleared if he looked like me. I don't. And I still don't think he's cleared. I still think there are
And
people
one
walking
thing I
around
wanna-
thinking he did something and he didn't do anything to that lady, and it bothers me.
And
Right.
And one thing I want to make it clear too, to go back on that, if you look at the timeline where everything happened with Chris, it did started with Ashley saying that, you know, he went to her DMs about going to the restaurant at 2 a.m. or something like that.
Yep.
And that's just like, oh yeah, by the way, this happened to me too. And when she confronted Candace was like, if you think back, we were just cool 2 seconds ago. We met each other after the reunion. We saw each other. You never said anything about this until now we're turning on the cameras. Now we're saying action, go. And then now you want to talk about this allegation. Why didn't tell me after the reunion when everything settled down? Say, hey, you know, Chris came in my room and I felt uncomfortable. And I just want to let you know. Why did you wait months later to film me, to say something and say it on camera? And that was the issue.
Here's the thing, though. I think a lot of people ask that question of victims all the time, and that question irritates me to the highest level, because lots of victims, true victims, will wait because they fear, you know, people talking about them and saying that they're lying and, you know, not believing them and whatever.
But she told other people, though.
But here's my point, though.
She told other people because she told other people.
No, I know, but victims will still get victimized because they'll be like, well, she told her therapist or she told her sister, and they'll still be like, well, she waited 20 years. But this is the exception to that rule, in my opinion, because you then come out of your mouth and say,
I think
he didn't touch me. He didn't say anything to me. When I asked him to leave, he left immediately. That's what you said. So my thing is this. I feel like at first I used to be like, well, I don't know if these people get on here and set people up.
But then she also doubled down on it. Remember, she said he gave her sneaky link vibes.
That's what I'm saying. She started adding things to it.
But even on this, but I even have one better, because if you go back to the beginning of the season, I think it opened up with Ken and Giselle before she met Ashley. She even gave Chris a big hug before she talked to Ashley about the DL. So if you were uncomfortable with Chris and then you started filming, you give Chris a big hug, and then all of a sudden you talk to Ashley about this DM, and then you say, oh, well, by the way, she said it just like that. Oh, by the way, yeah, when you see that, I remember this happened after the reunion. He's like, you forgot the scene that you shot with Candace and Chris, you hugging him, and you were like, cool. When you look at it and dissect it, it didn't make any sense. And I get it, you can't blame victims. I understand that. But with Giselle being the exception, there's happened too many times she's gone after people's marriages.
She's a liar.
People's husbands.
She's a known freaking liar.
And if it did happen, Giselle, if it did happen, it's hard to believe you because you have a habit of perpetrating these.
She already told us the sky was falling 28 times, and we believe that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. I'm just gonna be real. When the wolf actually came, it's hard to believe that the wolf is eating your sheep because you lied so many times about the wolf coming over. Can we? I thought
even Karen started telling the truth. Allie, even Karen started telling the truth. Even Karen Huger, the grand dame of lies, I used to call her.
I'm not playing with you.
Even she has got on the right side of the truth the last 2 seasons. And I'm appreciating
I think what you're saying has validity, but I also know that those same exact words applied to a different situation could still ring true for someone like me who works, like I said, with people who have this type of situation. These scenarios happen all the time and people don't believe them. The thing is, for me, what really sealed the deal was the setup, right? Because at the end of the day, I didn't know the setup at the beginning, right? I didn't know that, okay, well, Ashley said this to Giselle, and then Giselle probably, in my opinion, I will give her this much. Maybe
like,
she didn't think back to herself, right? And so and that's possible. But the problem is, the thing that makes me feel like this is 100% a setup is then you go and get the circus, what she calls them, Sesame Street people, and you bring them on to pile on it, and then you bring Lion Mia on to add more. Because I know Candace had been sitting at that table like, these bitches are, are
and
really
that almost feels like
right
something
now.
Leah Masquini said.
I feel like Candace had to have superhero strength to hold back, and I don't know that I could have. I just
People
don't know.
don't
And
give-
I'm not a violent person, but when I saw that whole setup there, that Ashley, then she said at the end, what she said, it ain't good when it turns around and the pendulum swings the other way. Then it was just kind of like,
Yeah, that's exactly
I
what
got
it
it.
is.
Candace is very
I
mature.
already
and
knew it
people
was a
keep
setup,
saying she's immature.
but
She's very mature.
Right,
Candace is very mature and composed.
I feel like it felt like that scene right there felt like when we were kids, we would watch the TV show, and then at the end, the Skeletor, whoever the evil person was, because they are just so the ego driven, they have to tell you, well, the plan was this, and I was gonna do this for you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Ashley sat there and did. It was like, you don't like it, don't feel good. No, but this is my problem with Ashley. Anytime she's speaking, if she opened her mouth, she's lying. But you have the most problematic husband, in my opinion, from jump of all the housewives, whatever. So the fact that you sit here and act as though you're
Try to come to my country and show what democracy is, and you have people in your streets that can't eat right and vote.
I'm just saying. So it's just to me.
That's why she made up this whole story of divorcing her husband, Michael, and so that way he couldn't be on the show. Because anytime Michael's on the show, he's bound to start something wrong. I mean, he can't even go. So
I feel like she did that.
Oh, are you getting divorced? That's why she's yeah. She's not going to divorce him. She's going to linger this on, talk about I'm still my feelings.
She's going to Kenya Morris.
I'm not sure. Yeah, she's going to keep dragging it on because that was never intention. As long as you can say, hey, we are separated. We live in two separate houses. That's why my significant other, who should be my ex, is not here. You gave him an out. Because now he's an ex or an estranged husband, so he doesn't have to be there. But we all know that's not the case. Because if you really were disgusted by this man and he gives you a million reasons to be disgusted by him, you will be more than quick to sit down there and sign those divorce papers. But what do? You buy a house. You buy a whole house with this man's money, and he has his name on the house. You don't own the house.
But don't pay no bills, she said.
He
doesn't pay no bills, though, you guys. She just told us Sunday he doesn't chip in at all at the house that his name is on. Can somebody tell me why her forehead is so big? There's no Megamind happening.
But again, that's why I say anytime Ashley's talking, she's lying. Her and Mia, they batting 1,000. Like they are. It's nothing believable. Because I couldn't last night when I was watching or rewatching it, and Mia was saying that she got that Gordon was broke and she had an inheritance. And then Candace for the win, Candace was like, I didn't know that they had stripper I was on the floor. I was like, yes. Candace, honey, girl, get them together. She got them. I was here for it.
Yeah, she has an inheritance, and I'm not to say not to judge anybody, but she's saying now she's inherited. Where she get the inheritance from? Because her father was.
She's lying,
and her mother had a checkered past.
No, she's just started talking to her mother.
No, she's lying. But she seems to be that we remember how you got what your story was season 1. We were rooting for you because you were the sponsorship trial and you made it big. You beat all the odds, beat all the stereotype, and then we find out you just Mia be lying. Mia be lying.
And the problem is,
I have a heritage and and then she tried to say, "Oh, my money is
Chanel that made me think,
but they wasn't making money like that."
You just said something, Chanel, that made me think about what we were just talking about for Leah's numbers. You know, her case number. She has her counts, right? So count 21 was about defendants conspired with cast members to torment her, and they get the cast members to do stuff.
I do think that's true, though. I do. I'm not saying it's true in her case. But I 100% believe that because that's what they all do. They bully, they gang up on whomever.
Exactly, and they target. Yeah. So 22 in Leah's case is that she had the whistleblower retaliation because she complained she was terminated. Sounds like Nene. Stripper inheritance. She said stripper heiress. I've never known a stripper heiress before.
Right. I'm sorry, I said inheritance. Sorry.
Yeah, stripper heiress was hilarious. Number 28 through 33
that was a good one. And then what Candace on the show?
I'm going to finish these counts real quick. So 28 through 33 was failure to provide reasonable accommodations per federal and state statutes. So she's hitting them with everything. And then if we could get a drum roll, you guys, this girl Leah hit him with the RICO.
Racketeering? What is RICO?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Number 34, the RICO Act. Defendants, Bravo, Shed, Andy, et al., created the Roni Empire to violate employment laws and to create an environment to produce dramatic reality TV and engaged in a pattern of illegalities, violating employment laws, all for salacious reality TV. In the process, subjected her to discrimination, harassment, and exacerbated her mental illness. And she hit him with the RICO based off of that.
So, but this is the thing, though. Anytime you file suit against someone, especially if it's like a corporation, or organization, agency, or whatever, the goal is never to go to court or anything. The goal is settlement.
To get your settlement.
That's all that this is about. So let's add everything in the kitchen sink. Now, I definitely think what she's saying has some merit. I'm not saying any of it happened to her, because I don't know. But I think that it certainly was happening because, like, I don't know if y'all watched Roni the year when Ebony was on there and how Luann threw her out of the house. And she said, I am the most educated person sitting at this table.
And it was the truth, but they got mad that black woman spoke the truth.
It's how dare you. It's the how dare yous of it all. You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like,
it's the how dare you sit in silence and look at Wendy.
Right.
A whole lot of how dare yous going on.
Yeah, a whole lot. And you know what really irritates me is when people have this notion that and I've said this before, I'm like, Wendy and Candace are not responsible for taking care of or ending racism or colorism on their job. It's Bravo's duty to, if an ism is brought up, to investigate it, to put a stop to it, X, Y, and Z. The idea that y'all had to say, oh well, we let them choose. Let's be clear. There was 4 of the lighter skinned women against 3, and one of them was Monique, and Monique really wasn't here for it because she was pro Karen. And my thing was, so how exactly was this fair? How did you really let them decide when they're outnumbered? The people you want the people who you are mistreating to go up against the boss, against the NBC, Universal, against the Bravo, against all of these people, to say, hey, yeah, my coworkers are being colorist towards me. It's nonsense. But people feel like, well, they had their opportunity and they didn't say anything, so they were weak and they was this and the third. I'm like, I don't know about you. I feel like Candace and Wendy both have a lot to lose, but many people face this every single day of the week, and they can't say, oh well, you know what, I'm just gonna go up against the boss. They say, you know what, this is why stuff still happens. This is why you have fake HR, so that people can say they have a grievance and it's supposed to get, worked out, checked out, and whatever else. That didn't happen. You do not say to the person that is making the grievance, hey, go in front of the person that is causing your grievance and tell them all of the things that they're doing wrong. That's the purpose of going to HR, so they can investigate. Yeah. They can have an individual, supposedly non-biased. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that person is going to be 100% biased. Who's going to sit in front of the TV and say, yes, I'm racist? They're not going to ever do that. And the idea that you would expect them to do that is ludicrous to me. That's why I'm treading lightly with this season, because I just don't know that I can do another season of this malarkey that they have going on.
Like, I can't do. I'm getting to the point where I just can't do Bravo. Like, I'm just really feeling like participating, even with the shows where there's a melanated goddess or two. I'm just like participating in this nonsense, especially let's listen to Kathy Griffin, because Kathy I remember that Nene told us first. Kathy was actually second.
What did Kat? Oh, she's suing them too.
In the, I think, 10 years it's been on, and I've never said this before, obviously, but both times I did the show, right before we went live, Andy Cohen privately asked me in an office in Embassy Row, which is the production company that does that show, if I wanted to do blow. All right, I've never treated my wife. You guys know I'm no prude, but I'm like kind of a straight edge. I thought he was kidding the first time. I've actually done Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen twice. I think 10 years it's been on. And I've never said this before, obviously, but both times I did the show, right before we went live, Andy Cohen privately asked me in an office in Embassy Row, which is the production company that does that show, if I wanted to do blow. All right, I've never had a drink in my life. You guys know I'm no prude, but I'm like kind of a straight edge. I thought he was kidding the first time.
So the reason that's relevant is because also Leah McSweeney said in her suit that Andy does blow with housewives, often encouraging them to do it. And often, if you do party with him, then he favors you. If you show, like how if you show him your boobs, then he favors you if you engage in his type of stuff. And that he punishes you if you don't. And we know that Nene's wasn't doing no cocaine. You know, she wasn't doing no cocaine.
Not the cocaine.
So that could have been another reason.
I cannot.
Yeah, the cocaine.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to really...
I remember that clip. It was
right.
And I remember that clip years ago. That came out like when Nene was coming out with her lawsuit, and it was much longer. But I remember she said that a long time ago, and she would rate into like details, how it went down, and what he said. So to me, I'm not surprised that showed back up. I mean, that clip is like years old when Nene just was saying she's gonna sue Bravo, and then that showed up trying to, you know, say that he, you know, Andy Cohen is not on the up and up.
Well, I mean, he's been.
I have to agree. That's not
totally
the first time.
Inappropriate and disrespectful.
Can y'all hear me?
Go ahead.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can hear me? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, can you hear us?
I was going to say, yeah, I never heard Nene. Yeah, I can hear y'all loud and clear. I was going to say, I never heard Nene say this. So that's the first time I heard anything about that. But Kathy Griffin, is that her name? She said it multiple times. And I always feel like, I don't know that you can say that. You can't really play that role in Hollywood, I feel like, because people will be litigious, especially if it's going to ruin their brand or something. But this is the thing with Hollywood, to me, the entertainment business just in general is savage. So let's just be clear about that. And there's lots of, I don't know what words I can say, substances that people partake in that could be problematic. And to your point, I forget which one of you guys were saying it because I'm walking up to my client's house. But to your point about, you know, him doing it or maybe possibly doing it allegedly or whatever with his employees, it rings true for me. Hey, can you come to the whichever one? I'm gonna be in the garage. Okay, thank you. Sorry, y'all. It rings true to me because when you think about shows that I don't even watch, I've heard them say things like what is that show? Vanderpump Rules. I think I've heard people on there say, you know, whenever we have events or whenever they're filming, you know, 2 hours before they start filming, they're like liquoring them up. That's been said multiple times that I've heard on various platforms. And I'm like, yeah, of course it makes sense that these people are lit. Hey, that they're lit and they're behaving poorly and, you know, reacting because you want that. So to me, thank you so much. So to me, if you give me a few minutes, I'll come and get you. To me, if you put these people in the perfect situation, which is have them liquored up, and it's not something you're making them do, it's sort of like going to a wedding. It's understood that people are going to get drunk and act crazy. It's just part of it. Not everybody, but you know what I mean? So if you're filming a show, then it's a perfect storm. So it's not shocking to me that Nene would say it. I'm not shocked at all, really. But I think, and I love Nene, I just wish she would have gone about it a different way. But you're absolutely right. And I didn't even hear everything you said, Ms. Curves, but I think you're absolutely right because of the fact that she said it for however many years. I initially thought Nene was doing that because Nene felt maybe butthurt about, you know, I'm the star, I'm the this, that, and the third. And she was. But I think that's what was coming from to me. It felt like an arrogant
narrative they pushed on her too, kind of like they're doing with Wendy Williams' son, pushing this narrative. You know how on these other housewife shows, especially in what was that in Salt Lake City, there was this new thing, this new term, don't narrate me. You know, and it's really important that we don't allow our icons either to be narrated. We need to listen longer, maybe research quicker before we put our own, $2 million wouldn't be enough for me to shut up. You know what I mean? Like maybe just allow a little bit more room for it to play out.
I think this is
instead
the
of just be
problem
so quick
with
to make these decisions.
I think
Yeah.
I would say for me, I do think this is part of the problem, not the whole problem, but part of the problem, in my opinion, is we get invested. I feel like I know I'm one of those people, right? I got invested before I even knew who Kim Kardashian was. I was like, who the hell is this lady? Like, I didn't know who she was, but she was on Cribs, and then you kind of like start watching the show, and you pick this person or that person. I feel like Housewives people, fans or whatever, we're very much like that. So it's like we find the person we relate to, or the situation that's terrible. So now we hate this person over here, and then we stick in that camp most of the time. So because of that, people have a blind spot, in my opinion, because they're being biased of what this person really is meaning. Or like I said, for me with Nene, I wasn't sure, but I felt like, oh, she's probably feeling herself. She's gotten big now. She's on the show. She's on Bravo, this, that, and the third. But that's only because I see 15 minutes of her once a week. You know what I'm saying? It's not as if I'm with her every day, but you still use your brain power to say, okay, I'm going to assume this is her personality. So it's not far-fetched for Nene to get with you and be like, oh no, I'm doing X, Y, Z, right? So it wasn't far-fetched, but I think because of the fact that she and Bravo, so to speak, fell out, or she and Andy fell out, it was just going to be like, well, Nene could be that way anyways. So they use the footage that they sign up Way They Life and all of their likenesses for $10,000 or whatever it was at the beginning. They use all of that, and they have the right to use it into perpetuity, because I promise you, she was just happy to be there. I feel like Nene, when she first started out,
when you first
it
get
was
on,
all
you're
about
you're signing
it was all
everything.
correct. And so and let me just say this one thing. This also irritates my whole soul. When I hear these people come on TV, the ones that's on the Housewives or whatever, and they be like, oh, she's acting like a fan, and she's a fan. That bothers me, because first of all, let's be clear. You're an ensemble. That's number one. So I might like Nene. I might not like the rest of y'all. Okay, so be very clear. I'm not a fan of you. I'm a fan of the show, sis. That's number one. And then number two, every single housewife that comes on the show is a fan. Let's be very, very clear. Every single one of them, except for the ones that started in Orange County, because they didn't really know, if that makes sense. But everybody else, because who signs up for a job on television and has no knowledge of the shows that you're going to, especially if you're supposed to be elite and have all this money, you don't have a reputation to protect. Don't do that. Like, again, you tap dancing on people's intelligence. All of y'all are fans, every single one of y'all, because you didn't get on this show by happenstance. You didn't just show up to an audition. You had something else going on. People didn't just pluck you out of nowhere. Like, well, with the exception of maybe, what's that lady's name on Beverly Hills? Oh, the Hilton lady. What's her name? Kathy. Kathy was a person that they sought after and wanted her. But the rest of y'all, stop it. Like, that irritates my soul. I'm like, you are on this TV show, and it feels like nowadays it don't take much. It's like, I almost feel like the women now just come on here for free. Just, can I come on here? And that's where the thirst is. But I'm like, all of y'all thirsty.
Yeah, like NECA is so freaking thirsty to me. And in the interview with Carlos King, he said that NECA had actually been on a show he did back in the day about first generation Africans coming to America, and she was supposed to be on that cast, and her sizzle reel for that was extraordinary. And that this thing that he's getting over here on Potomac, he doesn't know what that mess is.
Really?
Yes.
Carlos be having all the tea. Okay?
That interview. Carlos has all the tea, and it makes more sense, because when you start hearing some of these little trinkets coming in, it's like, oh, so that's how the text message and the phone calls came along. Like, because she actually probably was trying to get on the show somehow.
Yes.
When that show was called. And then
now they had to the levy side. You're right, Allie, you're right. Now and the levy stuff even more. She was begging to get on another show because that one didn't take off.
Yeah, all that did is verify what led you what happened. Like, you was trying to get on the show. You was trying to get on someone's. You probably did know of Wendy by watching the show. Let's be real. She's a fan of the show. Most people who go on these reality shows today,
and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not mad at fans. We're not mad at fans
at all.
And we're not mad at fans. I'm not mad at them, but you cannot say, oh, you're not like the OGs that started off the first year when Housewives started off, like Chanel said. You watch the show. These shows been on for years, so you know where you want to get. You know how to get on there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you can't sit. I wish these ladies just come on the show, try to interact and see how it falls. Don't come on first season 1 with a storyline, because it doesn't translate well on television.
Right. We like to find out your storyline. Don't come up in here and tell me what I'm about to see. Don't narrate your storyline. I want to see it.
I think that they get caught.
A lot of them.
I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place. I think they're caught between a rock and a hard place, because this is what happens with the fans. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So to me, this is what happens. So if I come in hot, right? I come in and I'm body like old girl that came in and was
NECA.
Basically, I feel like no. Well, her too. But I was gonna say Candy. But yeah, NECA, since we're talking about Potomac.
Oh yeah,
you come in hot,
like,
right? Correct. So you come in hot because you want people to know that you're the boss, and you're not gonna, nobody's gonna bully you, so on and so forth. Thank you. And then what happens is, if you don't do that, because if you do that, people are gonna say you're thirsty. And then if you don't do that, give me that time. But if you don't come in hot, then people are gonna say you're boring. What's our story? So I feel like they can't win unless, and I don't know if you guys watch Beverly Hills, but the lady that was messing with Sutton and the whole esophagus thing,
Anne-Marie.
The backstory really, and Anne-Marie, right? Her backstory is an excellent story, because I think her mom passed away while they were filming. She, was adopted, all this different stuff, right? She, in my opinion, if they would have told her real story instead of this, let's sign her up with
instead of the esophagus,
King Cobra Snake sorority, and send her out in the world.
You're breaking up really bad.
She's supposed to be a medical professional and a taxable story for adopted.
Is she breaking up to you too, Allie?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, she's breaking up, but I'm kind of making out what she's saying. A little bit. You were breaking up really badly.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing what you're saying about Anna Marie. Yeah. And you're talking about Anna Marie. I want to give.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what I was saying is I like you mentioned Anna Marie and NECA. They're both 2 first years on Housewives. I don't mind see Anna Marie next season, because yes, she came in hot, but her beef feels, she didn't come out and want to attack someone. She was like, hey, I heard this story from Sutton, and according to what I know medically from my training, that doesn't make sense. And then it just bubbled up to this whole thing. That's different. NECA literally came in with guns a-blazing to Wendy and started attacking Wendy and her mother, and you don't even know the woman. So that beef didn't make any sense.
Right.
And then it went so left. So I don't want to see NECA, because it's like you making this phony friendship.
Yeah, like how
know was Robin like
back from that?
Yeah, you saw the first let it was Robin.
Allie, can we digress for a minute? Because when was Wendy exactly supposed to just start kissing NECA's ass after 11 episodes of her coming at Wendy wrong? And then she spent the last 3 episodes begging for forgiveness. I mean, I'm like, no, that was like, the number's not, it was just weird to me that it was, the fans are even like, oh, Wendy's being so stubborn and making it hard for her, and she's the problem now. She needs to just forgive NECA. No, you need to apologize to my mom, say in no uncertain terms that what you said was bullshit, and then maybe I'll talk to you next season if they let you back.
The problem is, I feel like these
from the first second episode. No, wait, from the first and second episode, NECA just went on this narrative. And then on top of that, when you kind of apologize, you didn't apologize. Even till now, when she was on Watch This Happen Live, this is after filming, she still is on the fact that she's hanging on to this story. So you can't really ask for forgiveness or even apologize when you're not
still running around screaming that.
Now with Anna Marie, that's a different story. That was a fun type of shade, but it got a little twisted. But it was because she was trying to get to know Sutton, and then everything just got convoluted up. But
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree, and this is why. It could be fun shade if you have.
You guys keep talking. I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
Okay. It could be fun shade. It could be fun shade, in my opinion, if you're not an expert, supposedly. So it's like, if you're an expert and you're telling me that what I'm saying is false and these are the reasons why, when I never asked your opinion about me or my esophagus or anything dealing with my healthcare, it would have been okay if it was organic, meaning they were all talking about it. And then Anna Marie said, hey, I heard you guys say da 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 da. It didn't happen that way. Kyle told Anne Marie this is whatever, and I can guarantee you the producers nudged her in 100 different ways. Hey, you're a professional, and I know that her being whatever she says she is, a nurse anesthetist, means a lot for her. It's her she leads with her what she feels like is her intelligence, right? So it's like, I'm gonna lead with what I can trump you with. And what I can trump you with is I'm a nurse anesthetist and I don't bleed, blah, 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 blah. And all she did successfully is put herself in a whole box by herself. Because Kyle is like, I don't know her. Who is that? I only met her once. She done left that lady out there to dry when Kyle is the one that brought her the whole thing. Kyle is the one, let's be very clear, who tried to basically say Sutton has an eating disorder. And then again, here comes, but Kyle isn't the one that actually said the word. She let Anna Marie say it. And then Anna Marie's like, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. Whatever. That's one part. That's one problem with Anna Marie. I want her to come back because I personally think she realized later that Kyle set her up. And now she's like, oh, okay, I got it. But I can't let her off the hook only because you were trying to deliberately show that this lady's a liar in some way. And this is my problem. You can't tell me, regardless if you're a doctor or not, what is happening with my body, period, point blank. And let me tell you why. When you show up to the hospital, they're going to ask you what your pain level is. They can't tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't tell me what it is, I have to give you my information for then you to go and study or find whatever to bring it back to me. You can run a test, but the test is never going to tell you how in pain I am. So her trying to be, I feel like a medical bully, it rang real wrong to me. And I think so much so, the medical people had to get involved and said, she's lying. This is not true. And da 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 da. And so now I know she has to feel sick to her stomach. But I partially blame Bravo because I know that those producers are like, yep, keep going at it. Because who goes to a party for 4 hours and talks about somebody else's esophagus? Nobody does. And I know she feels silly.
I totally get it. But what I was trying to say was that it's really hard to be on television and learn how to read because these ladies know you're supposed to try to read someone, shade someone, and it just, like I say, got convoluted. And being the fact that she admits she's a type A personality and want to be the smartest one in the room, it was just a recipe for disaster.
The train,
but I do like the fact
the train got away from her.
I mean, it was.
I think the train got away from,
and that's why they.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the train got away from her. I think what happened was because she realized I'm caught in a bag, and like I said, she leads with what she feels is her strongest suit, which is I have this degree in this or whatever. I'm board certified and whatever. So she's trying to convince other people that she's telling the truth or that she knows what she's talking about. That's why she keeps saying I'm board certified, but I'm certified. No one is disagreeing with you because the people there don't know what you're talking about. They aren't board certified. It's the people that are board certified that are outside of Bravo sphere that are saying, listen, what you're doing is crazy. But I do agree with you. I think that the train got away from her and she did not want to back down and say, you know what, I probably stepped a little bit too far. Let me just take a chill pill. But what happened is, and it's good for her if she wants to be on this show, is now everybody's talking about her. Now it's not in a great capacity, but people are talking about you, and they talked about her almost every episode after she, came on to the show. So that's good for her. But I hope they keep her on too. I don't think she's gonna last. I don't, because with the husband situation and all of that, I don't know if she's gonna want to put him out there because she already embarrassed him by embarrassing her own self by talking about she got 8.5 or whatever it is. Like, and so, but I get what you mean. I just 8.5. But I was just like, I would love to be a Bravo and ask her. I want to say, listen, Anna Marie, listen, girl, you started out with this is a badge of honor, and my husband, I'm glad to be an 8.5, and because some girls are 10 on their body, but there's 6 in their head, and I'm 8.5, and she was into it, and then it became, no, my husband said I'm really a 10. and da 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 da. And then when she went and got interviewed with the E people, then it was, oh, he was joking. Girl, pick a lie and stick with it. That's all I want you to do. Because now I can't believe anything you're saying. Nothing.
It's a classic thing. It's a classic thing. Unfortunately, is you're trying to be shady, funny, reading all at the same time, and people, and I'm going to have to bring it. People like Nene Leakes. Nene Leakes is the GOAT. I mean, absolutely, she was able to do it flawlessly, and I feel like people are trying to be the new Nene Leakes, and they don't realize you're not, and it's just never going to work. You're never going to have those one-liners. You're never going to have those right reads. You're never going to have that right shade, and then a bit of comedy that makes it so enjoyable to watch. And that's what I feel like these ladies are trying to reproduce.
I agree. Nene's the GOAT, and it's natural for her. Just like people hate Kim Zolciak, but I love Kim Zolciak. I feel like Kim would read your ass to the ground. What she call Nene with a? What she tell Nene? Bitch, close your legs, you married or something? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But and she told Phaedra. Remember when Phaedra was trying to shade her, and she was like, "Girl, my husband." What she say? I don't run around telling everybody.
Thanks for holding it down, ladies. I had a business call. We have to update the policies. I don't want no Vicky Gunvalson shit happening.
I cannot. But I gotta go, guys. I hope. When do you do live again? Because I want to be. I like this little live.
Where are our faces? I can't even see us. I clicked the wrong thing. Oh, you know what? I don't have a really set schedule because I am putting so much into my new business. If anybody's looking for a new gig, I got a new gig for you. It's entrepreneurial, so you will have to do your own stuff, but I can point you in the right direction of $1 million. And but as far as going live, like I just really try to come on maybe Sunday, maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. That's what I usually try to do, but in the meantime, keep an eye out, ring the bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video. And thanks for coming up, Allie. Thanks for coming up, Chanel and Sebastian and Nadi and Emmanuel. And thank you, Curvies, for being in the house today. Make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button on the way out. And did you think all roads lead back to Nene too? Or is it just the mitochondrial? I'm not sure, but we should have done a lot more in the way of helping Nene get further along. But hey, hopefully she'll get a nice lawyer and they'll be able to get this suit back up and running so she can get paid. Thanks for coming through, Allie.
All righty, bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming through. Make sure you smash the buttons, ring the bell, and remember, there's enough to go around, you guys. So go get some. Go get some. Peace.